how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Mm-hmm. Well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record.
Hey, basketball fanatics. Today we're diving into a story that's making waves in the world of women's basketball, a fierce rivalry that has everyone talking. Caitlin Clark, the record-breaking rookie sensation, is under fire from none other than WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes. With Swoopes recently fired and feeling the pressure from this rising star, the tension is palpable. What's behind Swoopes' latest attacks on Clark, and how is this clash of generations reshaping the narrative in women's sports? Stick around as we break down the drama, explore the impact on both players' legacies, and answer the burning question: are we witnessing a rivalry that's more than just basketball? If you're a fan of the game or just love an intense story, make sure to smash that subscribe button and tap the notification bell to stay updated on all things basketball. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is winning this battle of generations? Let's get into it.
While Caitlin is fantastic, and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA.
Who's going to be the next face of the NBA? We don't get to decide that. The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark.
What is she doing wrong? What more do you want from Caitlin Clark? Seriously, what more do you want from her? She's focusing on the game. She lifted her team up, got them to the playoffs, won Rookie of the Year, and then also is denouncing racial tensions when she's asked about it. I'm sorry, I don't see anything more that Caitlin Clark should have done or could have done.
Caitlin Clark burst onto the professional basketball scene like a comet, shattering expectations and records alike. Her college days were marked by breathtaking performances that made her a household name. In doing so, she became a beacon of hope for the WNBA, a league still grappling for visibility in an unforgiving sports market. Clark's rookie season was a masterclass in excellence. She didn't just arrive, she conquered. Eclipsing records held by seasoned players, including Swoopes herself, Clark was recognized for her uncanny ability to score, assist, and contribute across the board. Most notably, she achieved the highest points by a point guard in a season in WNBA history, along with other astounding feats that positioned her as a linchpin of the WNBA's future. While impressionable, Clark's success was not without its critics. As she climbed the ranks, it was disheartening to witness the response of some veterans in the league, particularly Swoopes, whose critical commentary seemed to pivot away from mentorship and into personal insecurity. Sheryl Swoopes, a three-time MVP and a pioneer in women's basketball, carved the path for the likes of Clark. However, her current stance appears to be that of a gatekeeper, reluctant to yield her position as one of the league's icons. As Clark gathered accolades and attention, Swoopes' commentary turned increasingly critical. Her recent appearances, particularly on platforms like Gilbert Arenas' podcast, where she donned a Paige Buecher's t-shirt, felt less like support for a rising star and more like a jab at Clark's escalating fame. Swoopes' behaviour invites scrutiny. It seems her critiques stem from not a place of wanting to uplift the next generation, but rather a desperate attempt to hold on to relevance. This dichotomy raises questions about the shared mission within the WNBA. Should legends of the sport aspire to mentor or protect their legacy? Swoopes' remarks regarding Clark often twist the narrative. Through her comments, Swoopes attempts to downplay Clark's achievements and instill doubt regarding her worthiness in the league. This undermining stretches back to Clark's collegiate success, when Swoopes would casually brush off record-breaking performances as mere flash. The crux of the issue, it seems, is Swoopes' internal conflict regarding her own legacy. As a pioneering player, she was accustomed to the spotlight. However, as Clark's fame began to eclipse her own, the feeling of being overshadowed resulted in defensive criticisms. Just as Swoopes paved the way for the next generation, this moment of reckoning signifies a pivotal point where legends should ideally embrace rather than criticize the emerging stars who will carry the league forward. While countless commentators have highlighted the fundamental differences between Buecher's and Clark, the reality is far more complex. Swoopes' tendency to lend her support to one player over another demonstrates an internalized bias that belies the essence of sportsmanship. Swoopes' commentary lacks the substance of genuine concern for the future of the league and hints instead at a sense of entitlement to the accolades Clark is currently earning. Moreover, critics of Clark often point to an era when the WNBA was in its infancy, claiming that its growth was due to players like Swoopes. However, this statement warrants scrutiny. The league has witnessed tremendous growth as a direct result of Clark's impact, not just in terms of statistics, but through a cultural reframing.
With that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it.
Clark's rookie season statistics were not just impressive, they obliterated expectations, dazzling fans and drawing in unprecedented viewership. Rookie of the Month, Player of the Week, fan-voted All-Star. Her accolades amassed quickly, yet many veteran critics were dismissive or outright disdainful of her achievements. When discussing Clark's record-breaking season, consider the heights she has reached. With numerous distinctions, including the fastest player to reach 350 points and 150 assists, Clark possesses a skill set seldom seen in the league. Even Swoopes' MVP season, though historic, lacks comparison to what Clark accomplished during her first year in the WNBA, raising the uncomfortable question: how can Swoopes observe Clark's rise without feeling eclipsed?
Because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
This situation is indicative of a larger issue facing not just the WNBA but women's sports in general. The narrative surrounding women's basketball has often been steeped in tradition and sentimentality. However, Clark represents a paradigm shift away from the past. Her success challenges the unwritten rules that have dictated how athletes should behave and be perceived. She does not conform to political narratives or the melodrama often expected from players. Instead, she focuses on her craft, excelling with quiet confidence. By wearing a Paige Bueckers t-shirt, Swoopes signals her discomfort with this shift. Yet, the t-shirt moment isn't a celebration of Bueckers as much as it is a strategic deflection from Clark's achievements. Swoopes, knowingly or unknowingly, is caught in a web of her own making, a tug of war over relevance that will undoubtedly continue into the foreseeable future. What Swoopes fails to recognize is that Clark's achievements fuel the league's growth. The influx of new talent and vibrant personalities like Clark and Bueckers has transformed the WNBA into a more marketable and exciting entity. As old narratives and legacies contend with the rise of new heroes, it's clear that Swoopes' fear of being overshadowed plays a significant role in her interactions with Clark. This generational clash is not rare, nor is it unique to basketball. Across various sports, we see instances of older players unwilling to let go of the spotlight. Yet, when these legends act as mentors rather than gatekeepers, they open doors for aspiring talent and foster a rich tapestry of competition that ultimately elevates the game. To many, Swoopes' antics are alarming. Each dig aimed at Clark only amplifies the sense of desperation beneath the surface. While Swoopes claims to support fellow players, her actions often feel more like bitter passive aggression than genuine camaraderie. The underlying message seems clear: I refuse to admit that this new player deserves my spotlight. This connection between legacy and personal identity is crucial for understanding the evolving narrative. As younger players, such as Clark, rise, it becomes increasingly challenging for Swoopes to reconcile her status in the history of the WNBA with the excitement surrounding a new generation. A league on the brink of transition. The WNBA stands not only at a crossroads, but at the threshold of transformation. The success of younger players like Clark illuminates an undeniable truth: the league needs to adapt and evolve. Women's basketball has gained traction globally and is beginning to attract fans who may not have previously engaged with the sport. Ignoring these changing dynamics under the guise of tradition spells potential disaster for the league. Swoopes' statements elucidate an unwillingness to embrace change, a defensive crouch of attempting to maintain control rather than progressing organically alongside emerging talents. The WNBA's golden opportunity lies in tapping into the excitement created by players like Clark and using that to continue to market and amplify their brand. Caitlin Clark stands at the helm of this new generation, and while she's creating history in real time, she's also igniting conversations about representation, growth, and pathways for younger athletes. With her outstanding performances, she embodies the essence of competitive spirit and inspires legions of young athletes looking to break barriers and aspire to new heights. While detractors may point to Clark's confidence as cocky or arrogant, it's critical to differentiate between pride and hubris. Clark knows who she is, what she brings to the table, and she has no intentions of backing down while asserting her worth. Every game she plays challenges the stereotypes associated with female athletes and shifts perceptions, instilling belief and a sense of possibility among young girls aspiring to play. The The WNBA now stands to benefit not just from Clark's visibility, but from her ability to draw in fans and elevate the entire league. Crowds are flocking to games, merchandise is flying off shelves, and television viewership has surged. Yet the statistics exude an ongoing tension where some want to elevate narratives involving historical figures instead of acknowledging the reality of the situation. The ongoing feud between Clark and Swoopes raises critical inquiries concerning the real beneficiaries of this rivalry. Is the focus on competition ultimately helpful for the WNBA? While rivalry can amplify interest in sports, it becomes counterproductive when it fosters division rather than unity. What the WNBA needs, especially during these critical developmental years, is collaboration between eras. The emergence of young players such as Clark should be celebrated, not met with aggression. Swoopes and other veterans can turn the tide by fostering a groundbreaking environment that encourages and inspires the next generation, rather than undermining them. This confounding relationship has been amplified by the media's tendency to ignite controversy for clicks and views. The coverage surrounding Swoopes' jabs at Clark often overlooks essential aspects of mentoring and growth, focusing on the drama rather than the lessons to be gleaned from their exchanges. Moreover, fan engagement plays a crucial role in influencing the narrative. Fans need to rally behind Clark's accomplishments and recognize that her success represents progress, not a threat to the sport's history. Encouraging a culture of unity through social media platforms can amplify this discourse and pave the way for a new generation of talent that thrives on collaboration, mentorship, and elevating one another. As Caitlin Clark forges ahead, setting new records and expanding the viewership of women's basketball, the question lingers for Sheryl Swoopes and others like her. Will they adapt, embrace, and celebrate this new era, or will they cling to nostalgia driven by insecurities? The growing pains of any league are inevitable, but for the WNBA, this moment is crucial. Caitlin Clark has already proven she is more than just a player. She is a movement, sparking renewed interest in not just women's basketball but sports as a whole. In the face of adversity, she continues to rise, demanding recognition without altering the essence of who she is, a skillful, confident athlete capable of altering the course of history. Sheryl Swoopes may wear her t-shirt as a silent commentary, but the stats, recognition, and fanfare surrounding Caitlin Clark tell a much louder narrative. The WNBA is on the brink of a new chapter, one fueled by its young talents ready to claim their space in history. Whether former stars choose to uplift or undermine this new generation will define the league for years to come. If you're rallying behind the new and dynamic era of women's basketball, drop a CC for MVP in the comments. Let's show the world that Caitlin Clark isn't just a player in the story, she is the story. By embracing the change and celebrating the incredible talent that is Caitlin Clark, we can collectively push women's basketball into a future that thrives on excellence, unity, and the promise of greatness. Because at the end of the day, champions don't ask for validation, they simply deliver.